So by now we already learned a lot about transitions, the transition component, what it does and how you may use it. Sometimes you also want to run some JavaScript code, either as part of the transition, maybe to even control the entire transition and the style changes through JavaScript, or maybe because you want to do something when an animation starts or when it ends. And Vue gives you an opportunity to do that as well. It gives you various events which are emitted by this transition component during a transition. So when a transition starts, when an element is added, or when an element is removed from the DOM. And I will show this here on this transition wrapping this paragraph. We can listen to various events here with v-on or the shorthand, the @ symbol. And the first event to which we can listen here is before enter. Here we can run code which will be executed when the element which is wrapped, this paragraph in this case, is about to enter. So when the enter animation starts. So in the end, you could say this runs whenever this enter from CSS class is being added. So right at the beginning, when the element is added and the animation starts. Now I'll add a couple of methods here which allow us to print something to the console so that we can see this all in action in the console. And here I have before enter. Now this method name is up to you, doesn't have to be before enter. Here I just want to console log before enter so that we see that we reached this event. Now we can point at before enter here at this newly added method on the before enter event. Again, the method name is up to you. The event name isn't. Before enter is one of the built-in events transition emits. And if we save that and we open the developer tools with the JavaScript console here in the browser, if I click toggle paragraph, we see before enter being printed. So that works. Now, if I remove the paragraph, we don't see before enter again because it's only firing when the element enters. So when the enter animation is played. Of course, we can also listen to the leaving, though, with @before leave. Just as we have before enter, we can also listen to the event or the point of time when that element that is wrapped is leaving the DOM. So here we can also add a before leave method where we then console log before leave. Well, and of course we can now point at this method here on our before leave event handler. If we save this, reload, if I click toggle paragraph, we got before enter. If I click it again, we got before leave. Now you actually also get an argument in those methods automatically by Vue. And that is the element, hence I'll name it L here, on which this animation runs. If I console log L here and also here in before leave and save that and reload, you will notice that if I click toggle paragraph, it's printing the paragraph which was added. And the same for removing it. So if you need to do something with that element, for example, change its styling in case you want to control the animation through JavaScript, something we're going to do in the next lecture, by the way, then you can do this with help of the element, which you get automatically as an argument when listening to before enter and before leave. But before enter and before leave is not everything we have. We also have an enter event to which we can listen. This is basically the equivalent to the active CSS class. The enter event is triggered as a next step when before enter is done, you could say. Now here I want to trigger an enter method, which doesn't exist yet, but which I'll of course add now. Here, let's say I add enter and I console log enter here. We also get the element here, so that we also could interact with it here if we wanted to, and I will console log it here. If we now save that and reload, if I toggle the paragraph, we see before enter first and the paragraph, and then we see enter and the paragraph. And of course, we can also listen to when the animation finishes with after enter. And here I want to trigger an after enter method, which we have yet to add. This will fire whenever the animation is done, the entering animation. So here I will add an after enter method, console log after enter, and here we also get the element. So if I print that here, save that and reload, click toggle paragraph, you see we got before enter first, then enter, and then after enter. Now we have a quick animation here, so it looked like after enter was basically called directly after enter, but actually it waits for the animation to finish until after enter gets called. And I can show this by going to para enter active and ramping this up to 2 seconds, let's say. Keep in mind that View will read this duration. View analyzes this duration, and it knows how long the animation will take. It will add the CSS classes appropriately, and it will also trigger those events appropriately. And now after enter will only be called after 2 seconds when the animation completed. So now if I reload here and click toggle paragraph, we only see enter here, and only after 2 seconds we see after enter being printed, because that only is called when the animation finishes. And of course we have the equivalence for removing. I'll restructure this to make it a bit easier to read. We already added before leave, but of course we now also have leave, where I want to call a leave method, and after leave, which is called when the leave transition finished. Here I want to call an after leave method. So now we can add those methods as well. Here I'll add a leave method, where we also get the element where we can console log leave, and then console log L. And we got the after leave method, where we also get the element, and then we can console log after leave here, and also if we want to console log the element. With all of that, if we save this and reload, if I toggle the paragraph, we got before enter and after enter, and if I clear the console now and toggle it again, we got before leave, leave, and after leave. So this is how we can listen to that, and that allows you to run any code you want in reaction to your animation. This can be useful for a lot of things, but you can specifically also use it to control the entire animation with JavaScript instead of CSS, if you want to do that. And that's something we'll explore in the next lecture.